Hello and welcome to Limited of Adhesion GT3 Round 5 at Le Mans. Tonight we're at the penultimate round of the season. It's a very straight track with only a few corners towards the end of the lap. And once again I'm joined by my cool commentator Random Dave. How are you doing this evening, Dave?
Yeah, I'm doing alright. Yeah, it's getting pretty close to Christmas now, so I've got a glass of Baileys.
Perfect combination there, I think. I wish I could join you in that one. Have you ever been to Le Mans before?
I've never driven this circuit before, no, unfortunately. So normally I have some insight into corners and stuff, but yeah, I've got a track map in front of me, and I'm just going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
Likewise, I think. So we'll see the standings already with Andris Füellgrabe on top with 188 points, followed by Stephen Greening for Risky Racing Blue and 184. Michael Messenger also from Risky Racing Blue on 174, and Oliver Walker on 172. The rest of them are probably out of contention, but we'll see how today plays out. Further down the line, we've got Gavin Kelly, Don Parker, Adam Highfield. They've probably dropped a few points across the season, and a few, like with the likes of Will Burnett, Roberto Costa, Charlie Language, they probably want to pick up some points because it's not been the best of the season this time around. A few others are on 0 points, including Martin Balby, Manuel Cruz, Mitchell Day, Keith Schooling. Those guys, I think, are mainly just joining the league. We'll see how they get on. So the championship standings, Risky Racing Blue leading the way on 358 points. It looks like a foregone conclusion for the Constructors' title. Rumble Bees on 228 and Cannon Fodder on 202. Blackpink and Sleepy Time Racing probably just a little bit short of reaching the podium places this season, but you never know with 2 races to go, with this one being at Le Mans and the final just a couple of weeks away. So a few people have been doing pretty well so far. Michael Messenger, Steve Greening. Have you got any favourites for this race at all, Dave?
Well, I mean, let's look at the practice results really, and then I'll sort of choose the person leading that. I mean, obviously that's just really strong by Lee Harding there.
Yeah.
They're well up there, aren't they? But I don't know. I've just got a feeling it's going to be between Greening and Messenger, really. That's my hunch.
All right. Yeah.
Or maybe Andris, but no time. Was he there? But not there for practice. Interesting.
He perhaps just didn't set a time, and Rob Miller as well. Interestingly, didn't set a time there. It is quite a low downforce track and a lot of drafting. So Lee Harding leading the way with a 357.9. Congratulations to him. That was a great lap. Ollie Walker just behind him by a tenth of a second. Andris Füellgrabe picks up the speed, and he's in third with a 0.3 seconds behind. Steve Greening, Rob Miller, Michael Messenger, Reese Creighton, Sam Stott up into 8th, Rick Barrow in 9th, Tour Milan rounds up the top 10, Gavin Kelly in 11th, and Chris Forrester just behind him. Stephen Catebread, Chris White, Oliver Ettridge round up the top 15, and Don Parker, Mark Innes, Steve McCann, and Lawrence Aaron Jenkins didn't get lap time in, but I think they take to the field. Only the 19 cars this time, but I think that's more than enough for a track like Le Mans. So the pace car gets underway.
So I'm really impressed with Ollie being up there with a good sort of 7/10 faster than Greening like there as well. So I mean, I don't know, had Ollie practiced this track or done much of this track prior to this?
He may well have done. Yeah, he might have been putting in some laps prior to the qualifying. Who are we on board here? I think this could be one of the back markers. Could be the Ledge or Keith Schooling. Looks like quite a long pace car lineup before we get to the start-finish straight. Of course, there's a couple of chicanes just before the start-finish. I think they opt to go in one by one just to make it safe. And yeah, they have indeed opted to go in one by one. Very sensible decision.
So the sun's pretty low. I assume that it's the morning and it's not about to switch to nighttime.
I think it might be going to nighttime. I think it's dusk, yeah. So we might see some headlights and missed braking points because of the darkness later on in the race.
So, what is that? Andris is in a BMW. Is that right?
It appears so. Yeah, Blackpink BMW. I've never seen
that. Is unusual. Has he driven that before this season? He's pretty much always in the Ferrari.
Yeah, I just remember him being in the Ferrari. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll see how that fares. I did try in the BMW. It's more safe, I guess, for anyone. But I did try in the McLaren just to see how quick it is, but it's a little bit unstable as well as the Lamborghini. But here we go, pace cars in. It looks like the red arrows have just gone across the skyline there, and Lee Harding gets us underway here at Le Mans. Trying to pull away from Oliver Walker already. Needs to get his braking point right going into the first corner. So those two are starting to get a bit of a gap to Andris. They seem to have gone through relatively cleanly through the first couple of corners, so that's great to see. Not too many changes.
Such a long lap here, isn't it? I imagine the tyres will be up to 10 before you'd complete a lap, really.
Yeah, it may well be. It's a good 4 minutes on race pace, I think, especially with the heavier fuel load.
Miller's going down the order there.
Yeah, he is indeed. He must have had an incident. And Ollie Walker. I wonder if Lee had a slowdown there. I think he must have had a slowdown because he's lost 3 positions on the straight there. It's a very common mistake, and it is quite a tough kind of area to take it.
It's really tough when you get a slowdown this early on in the race and then you lose 3 positions, you know.
Yeah. So Ollie Walker leading the way for Rumblebees. Adam Highfield not in the race today, and we'll hope to have him back soon as we're on board Tourmalaro for the QRS team, being overtaken by, I think it's Blackpink, isn't it? Oh no, it's Rick Barrow. Remember him from Bathurst? Nice gaggle of cars there fighting for what looks like 5th position. As we see a replay of Rob Miller going slow. Probably got a slowdown. This corner, the track limits are very, very, very tight, to say the least. It's very easy to get caught out there, and of course you're just left at everybody's mercy. But I'm sure he'll look to make up places.
What is it there? Is it sort of half the car over the line,
yeah,
or is it?
It must be 2 wheels, I think, because I've been across there many times, and you just have to take a narrow line through there. On board Sam Stott as he's chased down Reece Creighton. As they've completed most of the straights.
So many Beamers, so many BMWs there. So I mean, who's the first driver not in a BMW here?
I'm going to say Reece Creighton, possibly. As we see a replay. Oh, and yeah, looks like Lee Harding did take a very wide line through there. Yeah, and it's painful when you're driving to just watch everybody go by knowing you have to kind of pick up the pace again. Yeah, I think Reece Creighton might be the first of the non-BMWs here. Tourmalaro on the tail of Rick Barrow. Rick Barrow was unfortunate at Suzuka with a last lap incident.
Oh, it's nice to see Malloran really persisting with the McLaren here.
It is indeed, yeah. So, first lap completed, and as suspected, it's a 4-minute lap. Oh, someone else going slow. Reese Creighton. I'm wondering if he picked up an off track or something along the lines.
So who's not in this race? Who's missing from this race? That's surprising. Here we don't have Line.
Yeah, David Line isn't there at all. Gareth Winslade isn't there. Adam Highfield, of course, he's not there today. Gavin Kelly's here, but he's quite far down the order. He's in 10th position at the moment. We'll see if he can make up any places. Yeah, but slightly smaller grid to our usual 24 or so cars. The Weavers don't seem to be there this evening.
I think it's related to all the work Christmas parties going on.
It must be indeed, yeah. Everyone's, yeah, as they say, don't drink and drive. You might spill your drink. Michael Messenger sitting in behind Lee Harding. Lee Harding's made up another position, so he's back up to 3rd. As Andris Füellgrabe is taking the lead.
I was about to say, did I just miss that? When did Andris just get past Walker there?
Yeah, hopefully we see a replay of that.
He's got 7/10 in him, so was it another slowdown?
Could possibly well have been. The
Maybe
field are starting to spread out quite a bit. So, on board Lee Harding here, on the tail of Michael Messenger. Is he going to make the move before the corner? As we get a nice helicopter shot, or drone shot as I guess they use now. It's a tough corner, that one, to, if you do overstep the mark, you're into the gravel.
He just took it all out on a cone.
You can see the 2 Cannon Fodder teammates in the background. I wonder if Gavin will take some team orders and let Rob Miller go past. And Lee Harding cedes the position to Stephen Greening.
So I know that obviously Miller had a slowdown earlier on, but I'm still surprised to see him all the way down in 12th.
Yeah, perhaps he's had
something else happened.
Yeah, perhaps he's had a spin or another slowdown. But anyway, they're quickly coming up to Rick Barrow and Ollie Ettridge, and they'll aim to slingshot past those guys. That's of course if they choose not to fight for the position. Yeah, and as we can see, the top 5 are BMWs. That's interesting. I thought that wouldn't happen because the BMW, I think, is quite a heavier car, and you think with the fuel load that they carry, that some of the lighter cars like the Porsche or even the Audi would be performing better here.
Yeah, I mean the top non-Beamer here is Sam Stott in the Audi, followed by Malarin in the McLaren. Yeah,
Sam's doing really well. He started in 8th and is all the way up to 6th now. So we see 2 teammates here, Chris Forrester and Stephen Cakebread for the McLaren team. Bouncing over those sausage curbs.
Andris is starting to pull away from Ollie there.
He is. He's just over a second, yeah.
And Best just starting to home in on Ollie. Ollie had quite a qualifying advantage over them, so yeah, it's surprising.
Oh, and who's that making a move up the inside there? It's Ollie Ettridge making a great move over Tura Malarin. That was a brave move going down the inside of that corner.
Well, Malarin was not too long ago in 7th, so did something happen? The outside off?
I would suspect so, because you don't really lose too much time here because most of the track is straight, really, isn't it? So I wonder if we'll see a replay of that.
See both the zebra cars in the distance there.
Yeah, looking menacing in the background. Toure won't want to see that in his mirrors for too long.
Looks like Miller's got ahead of Kelly there, because I think Miller was in 12th. Okay.
Yeah. I do suspect the field will spread out quite a lot over the laps. It's a 45-minute race, so we'll get round about 11 laps or so. It is a bit of a hammer and tong and cat and mouse here with the draft. You're almost like building a partnership with the car in front. Steve Greening being hunted down by Lee Harding yet again. Perhaps they want to work together and try catch up with the lead 3.
So yeah, I'm just trying to work out where we are on the circuit here. I'm looking at my track map. Are they on Corbeil de Golf?
That is indeed.
Is that where they are?
You're perfect French there, Dave.
And they're coming up to S's Indianapolis.
That sounds quite American as well.
yeah, but it's supposed to be said with a slightly French accent, I think. Didn't do well with that.
Excellent. So Lee Harding back in front, as Ollie Walker and Michael Messenger seem to be fighting for position.
Yeah, and Ollie's caught up half a second on Andris there as well. So
yeah. So I wonder if the draft does exceed more than 1.2 seconds here. Ollie Ettridge made up 7 positions so far in the race. So he's the highest earner so far. Interestingly, Don Parker, it doesn't look like he's started the race, so we're down to 18 cars. As they reach the start-finish straight almost. Really abusing those curbs.
I think the start-finish straight has a name, doesn't it? Do you know what it is?
I think you've got it better than me, I think.
Is it? Oh, I don't know. Afterwards, it has a slight turn called the Corbeil Dunlop.
Yeah, I think it's just called
right?
Dunlop. Yeah, in English. Yeah. I think they've been stealing some corner names off other tracks, haven't they? Typical of the French. So there's a bit of a train forming up behind Reese Creighton. They're all going to have the draft on him coming into the long back straight. I think it's a case of when rather than if he loses position. And he's lost it already before the straight. Oh, and it looks like Sam's probably gonna.
Yeah, he's got to slow down there.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, it's very unfortunate there. Made his way all the way down the order. Yeah, excellent toe, but he needs to remember the braking point because the toe is very strong. Oh. Yeah, just a coming together there. I think he just missed the braking point, and of course the toe is very strong. So yeah,
I think when you've got 2 cars in front of you like that, your aero is much less than you're used to. It can throw you off.
Exactly. Yeah, as we see a replay on board. Just a clip of the rear.
Hopefully no lasting damage though to those cars.
Yeah, I think it's just a light bump.
Maybe the bump into the barrier did more harm than the actual bump. Oh, hang on, what's happened here? Messenger's past Walker?
Yeah, he has indeed. And fuel grades all the way 1.6 seconds in front now. But Michael Messenger's no slouch, as we've seen in the previous race. Still a long way to go, and this is Mark Innes and Chris White fighting all the way down in 14th and 15th. So this battle's gone all the way across the field, going side by side.
I see
all the way into the corner.
Miller's up to 8th now. So yeah, he's recovered 4 positions.
Nice clean battling there between White and Innes. It's great to see. Still going side by side. Incredible stuff. We'll see who's going to be the one who blinks first. It's like sticking a mirror in between them both. Mark's got the outside line here. I think he might get the position. Yep. Carries more speed and takes 14th. So well done to him. As we join the action back towards the front, Ollie Ettridge sitting in 6th. Yeah, and we can see Rob Miller up to 8th. He'll be hunting down Tour Malarin. Yeah, Ollie and Tour are going quite wide through that corner.
So what's this track like for sort of instant points? Obviously they got to last 45 minutes. Is it? I guess it's a lot of straights, right? So maybe thought it would be. Yeah, not too bad.
It's not too bad. As we've seen, it's just the one major corner before the back straight that tends to catch people out, but obviously you're penalised by a slowdown. As in fact we see the stewards are going to investigate that incident between Rick Barrow and Rhys Creighton. We'll get an update on that shortly. Ollie Ettridge just managed to pull away slightly from Toure, but Toure's going to have Rob Miller all over him going into the straight. His teammate Sam Stott has Rick Barrow behind him. So the QRS boys are under pressure on this lap. We'll see how many kilometers an hour Rick managed to get. I think it'll be about 285 or so. Oh, he's even in the draft. He's getting even more. He's made the job done there. Ooh, bringing very late on the brakes, but takes the corner well. It appears if Rhys Creighton has gone into the pits, perhaps he's had damage from that incident.
So we've got Lee Harding sort of gradually catching up on the Ollie and Messenger fight here.
Yeah,
and he was so quick in qualifying and practice. You'd kind of expect him to be in a running still here, really. Need 2.5 seconds back.
Yeah, absolutely. If he can show the consistency over the next few laps, he'll definitely be right in the mix. Great effort by Ollie Ettridge. He's made up 9 places since the start, so really workmanlike performance today. And what happened there? I think possibly a lag spike or connection loss.
I'm guessing it's got something to do with maybe his wheel or his pedals not working. Some sort of hardware glitch.
That's very unfortunate. He's going to have to crab it back to the pits. He's doing. Yeah, looks like just hardware malfunction. Absolutely gutting for Ollie because he was doing really well up until that point.
And that's the thing, we get, you know, mechanical retirements in sim racing too, don't we? Just like real life.
Exactly.
It's normally down to your PC crashing or, you know, some sort of hardware malfunction.
So Toure trying to keep up with Rob Miller. Rob Miller's worked himself up to 6th place again.
So obviously, yeah, Ollie Etru's up to 5th. I mean, you've got to think though, for him to make up 10 places like that, that part of that must have been because his qualifying, maybe something went wrong in qualifying.
Yeah, a couple of drivers did struggle to set, obviously, a clean lap. I think they only got about 4 laps in the qualifying period or so, and of course, very long lap. Small mistake, it's a long way back. Now, as the sun's setting here at Le Mans, it's going to get dark in the next couple of laps. As predicted, the field are starting to spread out a little bit more. And who's this? This is Ledge in 16th place. Just, yeah, a little bit oversteer there. But he gets it back on the track, and we see Stephen McCann here, and he's Tesco value livery. Just going wide towards one of the final corners, and unfortunately just cracks into the wall. I think Toure just kept within the limits of the track there. Yeah, if Michael Messenger can keep up with Andris, it's going to be possibly a 2-horse race for the championship. Obviously, a drop race will come into play. Not seen too much of Gavin Kelly this race. I think he's quite out on his own.
I think this is really unfortunate for Ollie as well, because I think he was still in with a shout. You know, the championship.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be tough now. Retirement. Saying that he hasn't retired, but he's a long way down in 14th.
Yeah, and with a small field, there's still points to play for, and you never know what could happen. So most of the action now centred around Toure and Rob. And there's his teammate in the background, Sam.
Obviously, Rob Miller did get past McLaren, but McLaren hasn't let him go.
Yeah, I think he's wisely using the draft to try and keep him there. And there's Gavin Kelly in the background. So on board Sam, stop. Is he going to make the move? It's a difficult area here. He's going to have to get the braking point right. Because the car can slide out of control. He does indeed make a great move going round the outside. So Stewards have come back with a points penalty of 1 licence point for car 10. That was Rick Barrow for the incident with Rhys Creighton.
So Lee's really started to drop back a bit here now. It's now 4 seconds behind Messenger, and that's put Greening right on him.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's just pace or just perhaps he's had an off track that slowed him down a little bit. But Steve Greening, he's very quick indeed, so he will be looking to get on the podium as well, and indeed help his Risky Racing Blue teammates with the championship.
And Messenger's caught half a second up on Andris here.
So I'm not a fan of this pit lane entrance, but as we see Lee go through it, Tour taking a chunk out of the curb. So lost a little bit of time now to... Oh, someone off in the background. That looks like it's Rick Barrow.
No, Lee Harding, I think.
Oh, Lee Harding.
Oh, no, was it? No, he's in the pits.
Yeah, Rick Barrow's lost. He must have span on the curb, I think. Oh, that's really unfortunate. He's just taken a bit too much curb and the gravel's helped him lose his rear end. Just misses the tyre barrier, I think, but Gavin Kelly makes the position up. So Ollie Ettridge up into 4th, as we'll be looking to take the pit stops in the next couple of laps. Michael Messenger's now only 1.5 seconds behind Andris.
I imagine Andris is maybe slightly worried here. He did get past Ollie and was slowly pulling away from Ollie. Now Ollie's disappeared. He can see Messenger there, slowly gaining on him. So he's going to have to up his pace a bit.
I wonder if he's also trying to save fuel by just coasting into some of the corners as well. That means less time in the pits for the fuel. So, battle of the QRS boys. You can see Sam was just lifting slightly there. Probably just to keep in behind Tour. But is he going to look to make the move on his teammate? He thinks better of it. It's a tight line by Touret. Is that going to compromise his run out of the corner? We'll soon see. Perhaps these guys want to work together. And I have seen them indeed in the practice session working together with their drafting. So,
do you think they can work together in a race though? Practice is one thing, isn't it?
So Sam makes the position. And Rob Miller's hot on the tail of Ollie Ettridge. And we're going to see another position swap between the QRS boys. Sam's defending it. They're very close. They must have a lot of trust in each other to be that close. Speaking of Ollie Ettridge, here he is. That gap from Andris Füellgrabe to Michael Messenger is now only 1.1 seconds. He's dropping about 0.4 a lap.
Do you think that Andris is going to do his usual trick and run a lap or two longer though?
Possibly,
you gain a little bit, don't you, by doing an extra lap or two with low fuel?
Yeah, and I think with the long straights it's quite easy to coast into those kind of chicane corners. They both went into the pits. That's interesting.
And where's this going to bring them out as well? I guess the rest of everybody else may pit on this lap too, but if not, they may be stuck in a bit of traffic.
That is correct, yeah. It's a busy pit lane.
They're all coming in. Kelly? Is Kelly coming in too?
Oh, it is. It's got the M25 in here.
Yep, Kelly's in too. Everyone.
So I think everybody's eked out as much fuel as possible.
So I believe that when Andris and Greening come out, they won't have any traffic there.
I wouldn't think so, no. I think they've made up enough. As Andris gets away in the unfamiliar BMW of the Blackpink. That is interesting. Michael Messenger's came out the pit lane. I guess he has, but Andris is well in front.
Yeah, there was only 1 second between them before, so of course Messenger had a disaster at Bathurst.
Yeah.
In the pits, crashed into the pit entrance. So let's hope something similar hasn't happened here.
Yeah. Rob Miller up into 5th, and that is a net position, so he's looking to gain with Ollie Ettridge just in front. So with everyone taking their stops, we'll go through the race order at the moment. So Andris Füellgrabe in 1st, Michael Message in 2nd, Steve Greening in 3rd, Ollie Ettridge in 4th, Rob Miller in 5th, Tor Millar in 6th, in 7th is Sam Stott, Gavin Kelly in 8th, Rick Barrow in 9th, Lee Harding rounds out the top 10, Ollie Walker's made his way up to 11th, Stephen Cakebread in 12th, Mark Innes in 13th, Chris White in 14th, Reece Creighton in 15th, The Ledge in 16th, Chris Forrest is in 17th, and Stephen McCann is in 18th. With Don Parker, he failed to make the grid. And the QRS boys are still at it.
I mean, looking at where people are now with Harding and Walker, 10th and 11th, down nine places. That's looks like front row was cursed.
It was indeed. It seems to be a kind of an ongoing theme this season. Whoever was in the lead seems to kind of have an incident or just a bit of unlucky circumstances to lose the lead.
Yeah, I think you're right about these two working together.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can. I don't think they'll be able to make it up to Rob, but maybe perhaps if they battle together up front with Rob and Ollie, perhaps. But big ask, I think. That gap to Andris and Michael Messenger is now just about 7 seconds, so that difference being the pit stop. Very strange, but
do we know what happened? We could see a replay of that.
Yeah,
it's a big chunk of time to lose.
That is indeed. Yeah, they're definitely working together. Tori's backing out.
I think the strange thing is as well that Greening is 3 seconds back from Messenger, so it looks like both of them. I guess maybe just Andris had an amazing pit stop. So
well, I hope he hasn't underfueled, because that would be disastrous sitting in the lead.
Maybe he just drove straight through and then they just threw the fuel in as he passed by. You know?
Yeah, I don't suspect anyone's taking tyres for this. It's not a very hard track on the tyres, to be honest. Yeah, I feel sorry for Steve Greening. He's in no man's land at the moment. And it can be quite a lonely drive, really, if you've got nobody to kind of battle against. I'm surprised Rob hasn't made the move yet on Ollie, but perhaps Ollie's got the pace in his own right.
Well, he must have a lot of pace to make up 11 places like that.
Yeah. As we hear a car spinning in the background, I wonder who that is.
So who have we got?
It's Steve Greening.
It was. Yep, Greening.
Oh, Steve, what happened? He was doing well up until that point. That again puts Ollie Ettridge up even further, but surely Rob's going to make the move now. He's right on his tail, right on the bumper. He's surely got the draft, and he's at least got the position going into the corner if he can keep the pace up. And indeed he's done it. As we see a replay of Steve Greening. Oh yeah, carrying just a little bit too much pace. but he does keep out of the barrier.
He nearly saved it. Very nearly. Yeah.
Now on board Ollie Ettridge as he tries to retake the position from Rob. It is going to be a tough ask. He's just showing himself in his wing mirror. And if you're watching and you want to come and join us, we still have spaces in the league, more than welcome. And in fact, we'll be starting kind of two-tiered league next season in 2022. If you want to come and join our Discord, or even pop us a comment and we can hook you up with a place within the iRacing league, you're more than welcome to join. There's multiple levels of ability, as you see on our races. The more the merrier.
I mean, talking of that, I mean, so who here, you know, is sort of creeping into the lower half of the points that's, you know, doing well to be there? And I can see Cape Red's doing well again. Hanging on to 12.
Yeah, definitely. Stephen Cape Red's doing really well. He's been quite consistent, I think. He's known for being quite consistent. Chris Forrester is relatively new, but he's doing quite well so far. And speaking of Steve Cape Red, and Mark Innes has actually just joined the league. He's been quite pacey as well. So those two are battling here. I think this is Mark's second race. In the green Mantis car, I probably look to take Steve on this straight. Almost the same place that they took Chris White, as we've seen earlier. Go right across the curb. It means he's going to have the inside for the corner, but you have to be quite soft on the brakes in order to not to lose the rear end. In fact, he thinks better of it and lets the Porsche of Stephen Cape Red lead the way.
Well, it's almost like he started to move just a little bit too early, really. By the time he reached the end, he's sort of run out of that, you know, that pace.
Yeah, just testing the waters, I guess, and putting Steve under pressure.
I see that Miller's just set the fastest lap of the race.
It's a very fast lap as well, considering it's only about 7/10 off a quali lap. So it's really putting the hammer down.
I imagine the conditions are getting cooler, aren't they?
They are indeed, yeah.
But this is the first bit of clear air he's had, really, isn't it? He's got 9 seconds up to messages, so he can just go his use your pace now.
Exactly that. The lead to Andris Füellgrabe from Michael Messenger is roughly around 6.2 seconds, so unless something drastic happens, it looks like Andris is going to pull away with the lead and the win today. But anything can happen.
We say that, but Andris is pretty solid though, isn't he? I can't think of too many instances he's had. I mean, there was Donington last season where I think he dropped it, but you don't see it very often, do you? No,
he's very consistent. And last season he was strong, but this season he's just been immense when he showed up. Ollie's still clinging on to the coattails of Rob Miller, and Steve Greening's catching up slowly but surely. So they won't want to battle for too long if they don't want it to be a 3-horse race for that final podium position. And in fact, Ollie Ettridge is going to try and make a move here. Is he going to get the job done? Looks like he's going to take it from the inside. Just gets it braked in time. And it's back to square one for Rob Miller. He's going to have to get another plan out. In fact, he's going to look already. He's going to try and make it around the outside, but I don't think he'll have the pace.
And Greening's not too far behind.
Yeah, the more these guys fight, it's going to bring him in. Very close between these two.
I would imagine though that this circuit, with all the tows that you get down these huge straights, that fighting, doesn't carry so much for penalty as it would do sort of in Hungary, for instance.
Yeah, you're right with that. Oh, Rob's making a cheeky move up the inside here. He's made the move stick already. Great move from Rob there. And brake just in time to not lose the back end of the car. He's lost a bit. Ollie's lost a bit of time there.
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened there. Was that just sort of a wrong downshift or something, or was that a slowdown?
Yeah.
Greening's not far behind him now, only 6/10.
As we see Stephen Cakebrad, he must have lost the position to Mark Innes, but he's looking to make the position back. Not quite yet, but still in the draft, which is most important. As we'll be on the penultimate lap, I believe.
So what's the name of this corner that they're arriving at here?
Oh, is it the Indianapolis one? It's SS Indianapolis.
Oh, it's that one again.
Yep. Oh, that's very quick. I was just going to say that's very quick to take that corner, and indeed it is for Stephen Cakebrad from South Africa. He's went into the barrier. That's really unfortunate, given it that there's only a couple of laps left. He's going to have to take a trip to the pits, I believe.
And I think you cursed him by saying how consistent.
I know, it's concierge curse, isn't it? Sorry, Stephen. I'll know to keep my mouth shut next time. Oh, and Ollie's tyres seem to be a little bit hot. As we see Chris White, I think he had a connection issue, and before you know it, just ran him wide. Yeah, something's happened to Ollie Ettridge to bring him so far back from Rob Miller, and he's going to have Steve Greening on his tail from his sister/brother team. But Ollie's done a great drive today, making up 11 places. That's got to be commended. So the gap between Füellgrabe and Messenger has gone up to 7.8 seconds. So I wonder if something's happened to Messenger, whether Andris has just thought, well, I might as well put the hammer down.
Or maybe Messenger's just consolidating. You can see 7 seconds back to Miller, and just he can't do anything about Andris, so take it easy.
Right. Yep, so the positions in the top 10 are Füellgrabe, Messenger, Miller, Ettridge, Greening, Mularen, Stott, Kelly's up to 8th, Rick Barrow 9th, and Lee Harding in 10th. Ollie Walker's still in 11th. He's quite some way behind Lee Harding, but I think he's made the best of a bad situation there. Mark Innes in 12th, Rhys Creighton in 13th, Stephen Cakebrad's down to 14th, Chris Forrest is in 15th, The Ledge in 16th, Steve McCann is in 17th, and I think White had to pull out into the pits and retire in 18th.
It's a strong showing from QRS team collectively. We're used to seeing Mularen up there. He had that second place in Hungary, but both of them, Mularen and Stott.
Yeah, great haul of points for them today. That's what we like to see. And a decent haul for Cannon Fodder. Gavin Kelly's up to 8th, and of course Rob Miller's sitting in the podium position. Of course, in the Constructors' Championship, Risky Racing Blue are probably already crowned winners, essentially, barring a miracle. But for the other teams, it's all to play for.
Well, have we got some team changes for the next season? Because we're going to split it into into two tiers. I think when we can't have people in the same team across both those tiers, so I think there are going to be some changes next season.
Yeah,
so
that would be interesting. Yeah.
So we might, depending on what happens, we might see somebody challenge them.
So Rick Barrow flashing his lights, saying hello to Gavin Kelly. I'm after you. And I don't think Gavin will be too keen to give him 8th position.
Well, can you remember what happened at Bathurst with both Rob and Gavin on the last lap losing a position?
Yeah, they don't want to repeat of that. They'll be having nightmares from Bathurst. So this is probably the white flag lap, given that the 45-minute period is gone. .5 seconds the gap now between Andris and Michael Messenger. I suspected the cars are pretty well spaced out given the length of the lap.
So it's not fully dark, is it? But it's yeah, you need the lights out there.
Yeah, definitely.
I was holding that gap nicely, and then a cat jumped in my lap.
Gavin feeling the pressure there, and he's going to see Rick Barrow fly past him down the straight.
I mean, that's quite a lot of extra speed. Did he just make a mistake or a slowdown or something?
Yeah, it seems likely. Yeah, he's trying to kind of pace it out, I guess.
Oh, well, I hope that we don't get repeats of last race, and now we see Miller drop down the order too.
That would be in unpoetic justice.
He's got 4 seconds on Ollie, so you wouldn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, and Rob's a fairly consistent driver.
So I noticed Sam's dropped 5 seconds behind Malarin there, so they're not in each other's toe anymore.
Yeah, I guess Torres said, okay, that's enough, and I'm going to try catch Steve Greening. But I think it's going to be too much to ask, given that we're on the final lap. As we see Andris for Blackpink. Great drive from him. We haven't seen too much of him. He hasn't really been challenged, but
it's quite a typical race of Andris, really. He doesn't often put it on pole. He did do it at Hungary. He does do sometimes, but yeah, he doesn't need to, does he? Third or fourth is enough.
Yep,
it went from there.
Totally right. The final race, I think, is at Daytona, if I'm not mistaken. As we see Andris takes the checkered flag. Well done to Andris Füellgrabe. Wins at Le Mans. And Michael Messenger in second place. Well done to him. Good haul of points for the Risky Racing Blue team. Rob Miller in third for Cannon Forder. Great recovery drive from him, given that he had a slowdown in the first lap. And superb drive from Ollie Ettridge. Fourth place, that's a remarkable drive from him. As we see the other cars in the background go through. Steve Green takes fifth. Tourmaline in 6th, just behind him. Sam Stott, another excellent drive. He is in 7th. With Rick Barrow coming across the line in 8th. Just ahead of Gavin Kelly. He's going to be disappointed with that. He thought he had 8th in the bag there. Another last lap disappointment for him, but I'm sure he'll be back. Yeah, he knocks the cones in disappointment. Lee Harding crossing in 10th and Ollie Walker in 11th. Of course, Ollie Walker very unfortunate with what looks like a hardware malfunction.
He'll get a few points though, won't he, for 11th?
Yeah, better than none, I guess. So we're having a kind of a light show here at Le Mans, as we see the guys take their post-race parade lap. So I believe next time we're at the Daytona.
I think it's going to be a 1.2 hour race as well, with an 8 time multiplier.
Wow.
Well, look at this.
Yeah, so I believe for not serving a slowdown penalty, Miller, Kelly and Barrow, Rob Miller drops to P8 from P3 and Kelly drops to P11 from P10, with Rick Barrow from P10 to goes up to, from P8. So that's interesting. Andris, of course, took the full points of 70 points there in winning the race, and Michael Messenger just behind him. We'll see how that lays out for the championship standings. So Andris is on 258 points, with Michael Messenger on 233. Steve Greening in 3rd place on 229. They look set to take the top 3, but you never know. Ollie Walker in 196. He'll be disappointed with today's result. And Tourmaline making his way up to 155 points in 5th place. Of course, David Lyne wasn't there today, so I guess this will count towards his drop race. We haven't seen much of William Bibby this season. I've noticed his name there, so we'll hope to have him back at some point. And Adam Highfield missed this race as well.
It's starting to look like this championship has Andris' name on it, really, doesn't it? But
it does.
He's also missed a race as well. So if you consider that, it's going to be hard now.
Yeah, absolutely. In the championship standings, as predicted, Risky Racing Blue all the way out in front, just over 200 points ahead of Blackpink, who are on 259 points. But closely behind are the Rumblebees in 252. So come on, Adam, get involved and you can help the charge to 2nd place. Also not far behind is Cannon Fodder with 246. So yeah, Gavin Kelly, the pressure's on him not to take a position away from him in the last lap again, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining us from Le Mans, so we'll see you next time across the pond in Daytona. Thanks for joining us this evening. You want to say goodbye, Dave?
Yeah, cheers, have a good one.
See you next time.
Cheers.